Hey, and welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to read a chord chart. In any video where I teach you a new chord, I'm going to give you a few different angles to see exactly what I'm doing. Now, one will kind of be like this, maybe a little bit further back, but it'll be an overall view. I'm going to also give you a close-up of my left hand so you can see exactly what that's doing. When it's important, when it's pertinent, I will also give a close-up of my right hand. But if I'm just showing chords, you'll just get a close-up of my left hand. But I'm also going to show a chord chart. And sometimes it's easier to see a printed or a digital chord chart versus seeing exactly what I'm doing with my hand. So, to that end, I wanted to teach you to read a chord chart so it makes the most sense. Now, the way a chord chart is laid out is as if you held your guitar straight up. And this is how a chord chart is laid out. So you'll see a thick line at the top, and that indicates the nut that holds the strings here. And then you'll see the different frets. On the right side of the screen, you'll see that the line that indicates the string is thinner on the right side of the screen than it is on the left. And that indicates that we're talking about the smaller string is the higher pitched E string. The thickest string is the lower pitched E string. So now you'll see several pieces of information. You'll see where the frets are located. And then where you're going to chord the strings to make the different chords, that's indicated by dots with numbers. Now, the dot is where your finger is going to go. The number is which finger you're going to use to chord the string. So, number 1 is your index finger, 2's middle finger, 3's ring finger, 4's pinky. And then on the few cases that we'll use our thumb, that'll be indicated with a T. You'll also see other pieces of information. Now, let's take, for example, a D chord. Now, you'll notice that we have the bottom 3 strings chorded for a D. The 4th string, we strummed the 4th string, but it's open. So there at the top, right above the thick line that indicates where your guitar's nut will be, you'll see there an O or a circle, and that indicates that that string should be played open. On the other hand, you'll see the low-pitched E and the A string, the strings 5 and 6, they have an X right there. That indicates that those strings should be muted, or at the very least, they should not be played. You'll notice on the far left side of the chart, beside of each fret, there will be a number. That indicates what number fret that we're referring to. Now, as we learn our beginner chords, that's almost always going to begin at fret number 1. However, as we get further in, especially with bar chords and some different things, we're not going to be able to display fret number 1 and also fit where the chord is on the same chart. So, for example, if I were to show you a B flat as the bar portion, my index finger is on the 6th fret. Well, I can't give you the 6th, 7th, and 8th fret on the chord chart and also start at fret 1. So you'll have to notice that on this B flat chord chart that the frets indicated do not represent starting with fret 1. They start much further up the neck. So the entire chord can be displayed in the chord chart. Lastly, the thick line that indicates the nut of the neck, you'll also see letters there. That is the note that each string is producing when it's chorded for that chord. So we'll go back to our D example. You'll see that on the 3rd string, while we tune that to an open G, when you chord it on the 2nd fret for a D chord, that makes an A note. The 2nd string, when it's chorded on the 3rd fret, makes a D. When you chord the 1st string on the 2nd fret, that's an F sharp. And so that's what those letters on the nut represent when we're making our different chords. It's letting you know what note you're playing with each string. All right, I hope that helps. I really feel like that the chord chart added to our learning of the chords. It makes it so much simpler, a lot easier to really understand and see where my fingers are. And I hope that helps you really catch on to your chords quickly and get into playing another song. All right, thanks.